Hey guys, welcome to day 250 of the Bible Linear Plan. Today, we will be reading Job 8 through 11 and Revelation 12. If you need to read more about this plan, visit the High Quality Gospel website with the link in the description of the episode and the podcast. Please leave a like and follow the podcast to stay up to date with new episodes. Now, let's begin with reading Job 8. Then Bildad the Shuhite replied, "How long will you go on saying these things? Your words are a blast of wind. Does God pervert justice? Does the Almighty pervert what is right? Since your children sinned against him, he gave them over to their rebellion. But if you earnestly seek God and ask the Almighty for mercy, if you are pure and upright, then he will move even now on your behalf and restore the home where your righteousness dwells. Then, even if your beginnings were modest, your final days will be full of prosperity. For ask the previous generation and pay attention to what their ancestors discovered. Since we were born only yesterday and know nothing, our days on earth are but a shadow. Will they not teach you and tell you and speak from their understanding? Does papyrus grow where there is no marsh? Do reeds flourish without water? While still uncut roots, they would dry up quicker than any other plant. Such is the destiny of all who forget God. The hope of the godless will perish. His source of confidence is fragile. What he trusts in is a spider's web. He leans on his web, but does not stand firm. He grabs it, but it does not hold up. He is a well-watered plant on the sunshine. His shoots spread out over his garden. His roots are intertwined around a pile of rocks. He looks for a home among the stones. If he is uprooted from his place, it will deny knowing him, saying, I never saw you. Surely this is the joy of his way of life. Yet others will sprout from the dust. Look, God does not reject a person of integrity, and he will not support evildoers. He will yet fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with a shout of joy. Your enemies will be clothed with shame. The tent of the wicked will no longer exist." Then Job answered, "Yes, I know what you've said is true, but how can a person be justified before God? If one wanted to take him to court, he could not answer God once in 1,000 times. God is wise and all-powerful. Who has opposed him and come out unharmed? He removes mountains without their knowledge, overturning them in his anger. He shakes the earth from its place, so that its pillars tremble. He commands the sun not to shine, and seals off the stars. He alone stretches out the heavens, and treads on the waves of the sea. He makes the stars, the Bear, Orion, the Pleiades, and the constellations of the southern sky. He does great and unsearchable things, wonders without number. If he passed by me, I wouldn't see him. If he went by, I wouldn't recognize him. If he snatches something, who can stop him? Who can ask him, what are you doing? God does not hold back his anger. Rahab's assistants cringe in fear beneath him. How then can I answer him, or choose my arguments against him? Even if I were in the right, I could not answer. I could only beg my judge for mercy. If I summoned him and he answered me, I do not believe he would pay attention to what I said. He batters me with a whirlwind and multiplies my wounds without cause. He doesn't let me catch my breath, but fills me with bitter experiences. If it is a matter of strength, look, he is the powerful one. If it is a matter of justice, who can summon him? Even if I were in the right, my own mouth would condemn me. If I were blameless, my mouth would declare me guilty. Though I am blameless, I no longer care about myself. I renounce my life. It is all the same. Therefore I say, he destroys both the blameless and the wicked. When catastrophe brings sudden death, he mocks the despair of the innocent. The earth is handed over to the wicked. He blindfolds its judges. If it isn't he, then who is it? My days fly by faster than a runner. They flee without seeing any good. They sweep by like boats made of papyrus, like an eagle swooping down on its prey. If I said, I will forget my complaint, change my expression, and smile, I would live in terror of all my pains. I know you will not acquit me, since I will be found guilty. Why should I struggle in vain? If I wash myself with snow and cleanse my hands with lye, then you would dip me in a pit of mud, and my own clothes despise me. For he is not a man like me, that I can answer him, that we can take each other to court. There is no mediator between us, to lay his hands on both of us. Let him take his rod away from me, so his terror will no longer frighten me. Then I would speak and not fear him. But that is not the case. I am on my own. I am disgusted with my life. I will give vent to my complaint, and speak in bitterness of my soul. I will say to God, do not declare me guilty. Let me know why you prosecute me. Is it good for you to oppress, to reject the work of your hands, and favor the plans of the wicked? Do you have eyes of flesh, or do you see as a human sees? Are your days like those of a human, or your ears like those of a man, that you look for my iniquity and search for my sin, even though you know that I am not wicked? and there is no one who can rescue from your power? Your hands shaped me and formed me. Will you now turn and destroy me? Please remember that you formed me like clay. Will you now return me to dust? Did you not pour me out like milk and curdle me like cheese? You clothed me in skin and flesh and wove me together with bones and tendons. You gave me life and faithful love, and your care has guarded my life. Yet you concealed these thoughts in your heart. I know that this was your hidden plan. If I sin, you would notice, and would not acquit me of my iniquity. If I am wicked, woe to me. And even if I am righteous, I cannot lift my head up. I am filled with shame, and have drunk deeply of my affliction. I am proud. You hunt me like a lion, and again display your miraculous power against me. You produce new witnesses against me, and multiply your anger towards me. Hardships assault me, wave after wave. Why did you bring me out of the womb? I should have died and never been seen. I wish I had never existed, but had been carried from the womb to the grave. Are my days not few? Stop it. Leave me alone so that I can smile a little, before I go to a land of darkness and gloom, never to return. It is a land of blackness, like the deepest darkness, gloomy and chaotic, where even the light is like darkness. Then Zophar the Naamathite replied, Should this abundance of words go unanswered, and such a talker be acquitted? Should your babbling be put others to silence, so that you can keep on ridiculing, with no one to humiliate you? You have said, My teaching is sound, and I am pure in your sight. But if only God would speak and open his lips against you, he would show you the secrets of wisdom, for true wisdom has two sides. Know then that God has chosen to overlook some of your iniquity. Can you fathom the depths of God, or discover the limits of the Almighty? They are higher than the heavens. What can you do? They are deeper than Sheol. What can you know? Their measure is longer than the earth and wider than the sea. If he passes by and throws someone in prison or convenes a court, who can stop him? Surely he knows which people are worthless. If he sees iniquity, will he not take note of it? But a stupid person will gain understanding as soon as a wild donkey is born a human. As for you, if you redirect your heart and spread out your hands to him in prayer, if there is iniquity in your hand, remove it, and don't allow injustice to dwell in your tents. Then you will hold your head high, free from fault. You will be firmly established and afraid, for you will forget your suffering, recalling it only as water that has flowed by. Your life will be brighter than noonday. Its darkness will be like the morning. You will be confident because there is hope. You will look carefully about and lie down in safety. You will lie down with no one to frighten you, and many will seek your favor. But the sight of the wicked will fail. Their way of escape will be cut off, and their only hope is their last breath. Now we read Revelation 12. A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in labor and agony as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven. There was a great fiery red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on its head were 7 crowns. Its tail swept away a third of the stars in heaven and hurled them to the earth. And the dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she did give birth, it might devour her child. She gave birth to a son, a male who is going to rule all the nations with an iron rod. Her child was caught up to God and to his throne. The woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared by God, to be nourished there for 1,260 days. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon and his angels also fought, but he could not prevail, and there was no place for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was thrown out, the ancient serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, the one who deceives the whole world. He was thrown into earth, and his angels with him. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, The salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Christ have now come, because the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who accuses them before our God day and night, has been thrown down. They conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and for they did not love their lives to the point of death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them. Woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has come down to you with great fury, because he knows his time is short. When the dragon saw that he had been thrown down to the earth, he persecuted the woman who had given birth to the male child. The woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, so that she could fly from the serpent's presence to her place in the wilderness, where she was nourished for a time, times, and half a time. From his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river flowing after the woman, to sweep her away with the flood. But the earth helped the woman. The earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the river that the dragon had spewed from his mouth. So the dragon was furious with the woman and went off to wage war against the rest of her offspring, those who keep the commands of God and hold firmly to the testimony about Jesus. The dragon stood on the sand of the sea. On day 249, we read of Job's friend accusing Job, and in Revelation, the two witnesses died and were resurrected. Today in Job, another friend of Job speaks. He says that if Job was righteous, as he says he is, then God would have blessed him like before. This friend also defends God and says that what he is doing is right. If Job was righteous, then God would not fail to help Job and hear his case. But to the friend, Job isn't righteous, and he condemns him. The friend urges Job to remember and respect the ancient wisdom, the lessons of the past, on this matter. Since tradition says that the righteous always get rewarded on earth, and the wicked always get destroyed on earth, he should listen and obey. Job finally answers, and is frustrated. Not necessarily with God, but with the power of God, and how he is beyond the ability to fully know and understand. He of course agrees with his friend, saying that he understands that God rewards the righteous, and that no one is righteous under God. But he wants to reason with God. But he doesn't know how to talk to such a being. He is unable to defend himself, and it seems as if God enjoys that to him. Since he is unable, he wishes for a mediator to stand for him and come to his defense. Job feels slighted. He wants to ask God if he enjoys this suffering. Job is firm in his belief that he hasn't done anything to deserve this suffering, which is probably true. So why would God let such a righteous man let his creation suffer so much? Is that not a question so many have today? This is not a new idea. If someone is struggling with this idea of suffering, even if it's essentially undeserved, they are facing a very old concept, a very old question, one that, of course, can be answered. And that's why we are reading and understanding the book of Job. That's why this book is so important. Not because it's history that we need to know, but it reveals wisdom and how we can be wise throughout our suffering, how we can answer these types of questions wisely. And again, Job asks God to reveal any sin in Job, showing that Job still has that same old mindset of, I'm facing evil, I must have done something wrong. In Revelation, we move to a more symbolic section of Revelation, moving away from step-by-step narratives. We start to see multiple different figures that represent different aspects of the past, present, and future events. John sees a woman clothed with the sun crying out in pain as she gives birth. Waiting to kill her child is a red dragon. The woman symbolizes Israel, the dragon is Satan, and the male child is Christ. This male child is caught up to God, which tells us it is Christ. And the woman, after the child is taken up to God, flees into the wilderness. Next, John observes a war in heaven, where Michael the archangel fully casts Satan out of heaven. This is not a depiction of the initial fall of Satan, but instead it's of Satan being entirely taken out and placed upon the earth. Now, Satan is confined to the earth, and his rage will be taken out on mankind, especially Israel. Here in Revelation, the people of Israel are given supernatural protection by God, symbolized by the reference to wings, and able to survive for a period of 3.5 years. John also sees the serpent attempt to wash the woman away with the flood of water from its mouth. This would symbolize an armed invasion. God again protects the woman. This enrages Satan, who commits to attacking the offspring of the woman. Thank you for joining in the reading and understanding of these chapters, and let us all be vigilant in continuing this reading. Please share, like, follow, or whatever you can do to help us reach more people with the Bible reading. Please also check out the High Quality Gospel website for more information and a couple of store items. Thank you, and keep learning.